And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
And you don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder.
Oh, goodness. Like, okay. I got to work on that. Like,
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have a cake.
Yeah.
gosh, you showed up.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast. We got a special guest again today. We're doing part two with Mr. John Shinholser, our co-host. John, you're not allowed to be on your phone when the podcast starts, just so you know. The podcast has
I had
started.
fans tuning in already.
You have your pet peeve that we have to be on time. My pet peeve is no phones while we're interviewing you. You can't look up the answers to the questions.
Yeah, but they might be texting, hey, I can't hear Jesse. Tell him to get close to the mic or something.
Y'all going to hear me today. Look, text Steve Altice if you got any questions. Don't text John.
Don't worry about that.
Leave John alone.
Only time I multitask.
All right, everybody. So we got part two. Part two of the podcast with John Shinholser. We're going to dig into
See,
some
you
stuff.
already lost one, man.
They logged out. They logged on, and they seen you, and they logged out.
Man, they heard you. They come back.
All right. So our co-host, he'll be on a little later. He had a PO appointment, so he's coming on in a little bit.
A PO appointment.
Post office.
Post office, yes. He doesn't want anybody to know. All right. So before we get into the podcast today, I do want to go over our events and our sponsors. We're excited. We have two sponsors. Our first one is Hype Counseling Services. They're a local counseling service place in Richmond, Virginia. Their phone number is scrolling at the bottom of the page, 804-213.
You cleaned that up quick.
0259, Hype Counseling Services. So they are a recovery ambassador sponsor of our Recovery Fest. And if you do that, you get free advertisement on our podcast up until September. So they're getting that. We want to shout them out for sponsoring us. Thank you very much, Hype Counseling. And if you need any services and you live in the Richmond area, reach out to them. And then our next sponsor, we're excited to announce we got a sponsor of the podcast, actually sponsoring our podcast now, and that is the Farley Center. They're located in Williamsburg, Virginia. They got a detox center. They help individuals with substance use disorder. So if you have any needs or questions, contact Kelly Eason, phone number 804-638.
Oh, that name sounds familiar.
7329.
Yeah, buddy.
It should say Kelly Wysocki, but she hasn't changed that last name yet.
She's a wise woman, man. My wife got her last name. She never took my name.
What? And you didn't get mad about that?
Not at all, man.
Really? I told Kelly she has to be Mrs. Wysocki. They got to take that last
Well,
name.
they call her Mrs. McShin wherever we go. But
That's what they know about Mr. McShin. That's what they call you too, Mr.
Mr.
McShin.
McShin.
Yeah.
So we both lost our last names.
Adopted the new
Right.
name. Good stuff. Well, thank y'all for the sponsors, man. We appreciate y'all. Hype Counseling and Farley Center, thank you for sponsoring us. So upcoming events, we got this Friday. It's going to be really good, man. We got a lot of great speakers, man. This Friday is Care Talks. Care Talks is a recovery, basically just a speak off, man. We're gonna have people in there speaking about recovery topics, recovery solutions. Starts at 6 o'clock from 6 to 8. Are we doing light refreshments? Are y'all doing light refreshments?
We always do light refreshments, and it'll be a live broadcast too. So if
Live
they can't make it in
broadcast.
person, they can see it. Just a great event, a lot of good connection. I always tell folks if you need to get out and meet people, that's a good place to go. So
And we're streaming it on this, right, Steve? On our
Yes, we
Facebook
are.
page.
Yep.
Yes, we are.
So just tune in on our Facebook page, 6 o'clock.
And Care Talks page.
Care Talks page as well. Okay. So tune into that. Check it out. We got some great speakers on there from 6 to 8. And then on the 31st, we have what's called Overdose Awareness Vigil. We have that every year. It's here up in our chapel and outside of our Memorial Garden at 6 p.m. We have somebody who's going to sing, and then we have a couple speakers, little quick speakers. So if you've lost anybody to the disease of substance use disorder, the disease of addiction, come out there and you can honor them. And then we have 2 more in September. Well, 3 more in September. We have our Labor Day cookout, free food, September 4th, free food, cornhole, music. Come out, check us out.
yeah, it's a picnic, man, and they're awesome picnics too.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
People
they
come
are.
in from all around.
Yep. Sometimes we get some speakers out there. It just kind of depends who drops in. Sometimes we might have some politicians drop in.
Well, it's election cycle, so I'm sure
Ain't
some.
no telling, right?
Yeah, they'll come by and tell us what they're going to do for the recovering community. They usually do. Good hit.
Yeah, yeah. So come check that out, y'all. If you're in one of the jails and prisons that we broadcast in, if you get out before then, come check it out. Good, clean fun. Good, free food, clean fun. Come check it out. And then September 9th, Recovery Fest, 12 p.m. Starts at 12 p.m. It's over at Hanover Ruritan Club. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Hanover. It's called Courthouse Ruritan.
I had to pause for a second because there was a comment there from my beautiful.
Oh
wife
yeah,
there.
she just reminded you why it's so important to keep your regular name, man. I mean, that's the name she's been with for her whole life, man. I mean,
is that what
give
you're
her a
agreeing
break.
with, Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely,
You're agreeing
yeah,
with keeping...
yeah.
What?
But she did follow up with Babe, looking good. So
Look at her name though. On
I
that.
see that Wasaki, Kellyanne Wasaki. Yeah. What do you know, man?
She changed.
Hungry mouth gets fed.
She changed it on Facebook. All right, but come out, y'all out there listening. Please come by to Recovery Fest, man. It's a big event. You'll love it, man. We got a bouncy house, cornhole tournament. We got People's Choice for the barbecue. That's always live and happening. You get taste some barbecue. How's that work, John?
Well, man,
How
I tell you
works.
what, we got 10 different restaurants, barbecue from the 10 top barbecue restaurants in Richmond. It's a blind judging contest. Nobody but me knows what the barbecue is. We got coated cups that you get your samples in, and this is how you find a true People's Choice barbecue.
Who won it last
Well,
year?
ZZQ won both beef and pork last year, and I was kind of surprised. And there was three beef. They were like, one got 25 votes, one got 24 votes, one got 23 votes, but they smoked them on the pork. But it was just, I was amazed on how effective this is. So this is a true gauge of what is the best barbecue in Richmond according to the people. And it's a blind judging contest.
So if you like barbecue, come check it out.
Absolutely. You can't go nowhere and get this many samples in one spot of the best barbecue in Richmond. Plus, we're going to have a chipping contest.
Dude, we did that last year, too. Going to be a little chipping contest.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what the cost is going to be for that?
It's like $1 a ball, and then you have a chip off in the end. We split the pot 50-50.
Chipping contest. So if you like golf, if you think you got a golf game, come out there, check that out.
You don't need to play golf to chip, man. You can
Okay.
practice while you're there, too. So
Okay.
it's going to be a lot of fun, man. A lot of activities out there.
For those of y'all out there that don't know golf, what's the chipping? What's the chip? What does it mean to chip, John?
It's like a little chip shot, a little 20-footer.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
like a wedge.
The
You
closest.
hit a little wedge.
So that's the close shots, y'all. It's not
Right.
the long one. That's the close shots. So come on out, have some fun. Cornhole tournament. Last year we kind of that one messed up a little bit, but this year we're gonna get that cornhole tournament going. I think we got some music, some bands coming.
Oh, it's going to be an awesome
Yeah.
event. Once again, some politicians will stop by and tell you what they're going to do for the recovering community. This is originated with the idea of being face and voices to recovery. Because remember, 20 years ago, big stigma around addiction. So we had to show the public that there's a lot of people in recovery with just fine folks, and we had to educate bureaucrats and politicians and regular folks, and this turned into quite the family event. And the Ruritan people, they love us out there. The community loves us out there.
How many is this now that we've done? Which one?
Well,
is this? Do you remember?
I'm thinking this might be the 20th one because it originated. I'm going to guess 20 years ago. We used to do them with the Sarah, Virginia Substance Abuse Addiction Recovery Alliance.
Oh, really? Did it?
We had lots of collaborators. We all pitched in together and did these things. But after a couple of years, it just got so complicated with, people trying to make decisions and where to go, what to do, what to spend. So that's one of the things in McShin. We just took the bull by the horn, and it's kind of,
yeah.
and it's been a McShin, community recovery event. But, we're ready to get everybody in the community back together, and let's do this like we originated it.
Do it together, yeah.
But it's
yeah.
still hard to get these guys to make decisions,
Yeah, and when you get a lot of a lot of leaders in one place, everybody wants to lead and not allow somebody.
I don't even think it's
led.
as much as the leading side; it's the decision-making side. One of our claims of fame is when you got a tip of the spear, you just make decisions and do it.
Yeah, well, that's what usually leaders do is make the decisions. So when you got so many of them in one room, everybody wants to make the decision.
All right, let me clean this up a little bit. So all these other organizations, for the most part, they had to take it back to their boss, their manager, their board. And that can take months sometimes, and some decisions got to be made within days and weeks. So to have somebody that can make decisions, it's a decision-making thing, you know.
Yeah, I feel like,
But it's been well supported by these folks too.
They'll come out to it, right?
And I think they kind of like the idea that okay, let McShin kind of do it.
We'll just come out.
We'll
there, bring
show
our
up,
people.
support it,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. But sometimes people say, well, we want to participate more on the planning part. I said, well, you're welcome to. You know, we actually for several years we had planning meetings where people were invited to help plan it and whatnot, and then they kind of fall off too. So, but you know, if we need to regroup, we will. If we don't, we won't.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know the community does support it. It is a big event for the community. They come out, they bring their people out there.
And a lot has happened too, meaning that during the month of September, Recovery Month, I bet there's 100 different events during that month. You know, during the week, on weekends, from all these other organizations. So
are doing stuff. Yeah.
So the intention to reduce stigma and create recovery capacity, that it's worked. You know, so we're where we need to be as a result of why we started.
Good. So come out to Recovery Fest. Y'all check it out. You know, you're hearing a little bit of history of how it started and some of the things we've done. Come check it out. It's a great event. Good, clean fun. We're gonna have some fun. Come out there September 9th.
And Travis is on the way. I see that.
Yeah, that was
Barbie. Most people like barbecue. You'd be surprised at the vegetarians though.
Barbie, you're supposed to be working.
She is working. She got a headset on.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's what she's doing. And then one last event that's in September that I wanted to start, promoting and letting y'all know it's happening. It's called Mobilize Recovery. They did it last year. They came through here. They tour all around the United States. I think Ryan Hampton is kind of the lead with this.
Ryan's become the new mayor of America in recovery, and he does a great job with Mobilize Recovery. They're going to be doing this huge event in D.C., but on Sunday they're coming down here, and they talked me into getting up at 2 a.m. and putting some brisket on the smoker. So we're going to have some world famous brisket.
You doing brisket there at your house or here?
Here. We're going to, we're eating it here. I ain't decided if I'm going to bring the smoker down
y'all heard
here.
that or not. World famous
It
brisket.
is definitely world famous. We got people from UK that probably going to watch this and say, yeah, I wish I was there, because they came here before from UK to get that barbecue.
Richmond, you cooked.
Yeah, I probably cooked some when they were here, but we visit the different restaurants. Richmond's a barbecue town. I don't know if people know that or not. So
barbecue is like a down south kind of thing, right? Or is it up north too?
Well, I think it's where you get the hardwoods, the fruit woods. You know, down south has more fruit trees than up north. So, yeah, you could say that could be a southern thing, but it definitely spread nationwide. But when I travel, it's hard to find good barbecue.
You can find it right here in Virginia.
Right. Oh, you got it all over Virginia, man. Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Florida got good barbecue.
John, your brisket is come on, Barbie. Barbie.
You know it's banging. Barbie got it. Barbie's on point there. She
Barbie.
knows what she's talking about.
Barbie, there is a spider and cobwebs in my window that we talked about before.
Don't worry about that. They barbecue spiders, Barbie. They barbecue spiders.
Barbie, I bet there's no cobwebs and spiders in John's office.
Well, I got a lot of dust in there.
A lot of dust.
A lot of dust. I got a lot of stuff to dust off too.
Yeah.
So
you got a bigger office. You got a lot of stuff in there. You're right.
But my office is cleaner than your office.
Yeah, it's because Barbie cleans it. She doesn't clean mine.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, she likes you better
Well,
than me.
she knows where the bread and butter's coming from.
Yeah.
You the boss.
So she don't clean my office.
Yeah.
She should be cleaning my
Yeah, here comes that other newcomer now.
Newcomer coming.
Yeah.
Oh man, let him catch his breath.
Yeah,
before he
let him
comes to the
catch his
microphone.
breath.
Just take some breaths, breathe. He was having trouble earlier when we did the podcast. You could barely hear him.
He probably ought to cut back on smoking somewhere along the way.
Yeah. Earlier he couldn't come up with his motivational tips. He just was struggling, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Well, we're getting ready to have a
okay.
real show now that Travis is here. Look, he's got his urine with him. He passed.
Hopefully he's okay. Look, you're gonna have to get closer to the mic because you were whispering earlier. Nobody could hear you.
Yo,
Yeah.
keep the mic close though. Don't
Right
push
here.
it back.
Yes, sir.
Look, we already determined you got to be like a half inch from it.
Okay.
Let me measure that.
See, they ain't gonna hear you. You're too far back, man.
You gotta get closer.
He ain't here. He ain't here to co-host.
Good Lord.
Get yourself together, Travis. You all right now?
Man, you can't drink your own urine.
Are you focused?
You can survive all that.
Can you really?
Yeah,
No,
you probably could.
No.
I seen an episode of Man vs. Wild. If you're in the desert,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
and
can
make
drink
it
your own
work.
urine.
well, they say it'll make you
die.
possibly hallucinate. But, I mean, if you're dying of thirst anyway, you might as well give
Did
it
you
a
hear
go.
that? So all you hallucinogenic people, when you're out of drugs, you can drink your urine and it'll get you high.
And get you nice.
Have you ever heard? I heard stories about people when they they were getting so high they didn't want to leave their room to go to the bathroom, and they just would pee in the bottle.
Or a diaper, like that lady that traveled across country
You remember that? Said that.
Oh.
That's when she was chasing her
to kill her
boy-
husband.
boy- yeah,
She
right.
didn't want to stop to pee, so
You
she
don't
just
remember
wore a
that
diaper.
the
Well,
lady
if urine got you high, nobody want to get out of prison.
Yeah.
John, you don't remember that lady that worked for NASA that was haunting her I think it was like her husband or
Stalking,
boyfriend
not
stalking.
haunting. You
I
gotta
don't
dial off.
watch those creepy movies.
No, it's a real
It's more like
story.
a
Oh,
Twitter
I-
funny.
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
Steve, you don't remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
drove and she had a diaper and all
Several
kinds of
diapers.
stuff.
That's determination.
That's good. Thank you, Cricket, for pointing that out. I'm glad she's taking care of that.
Now that we're
right.
all in the gutter,
Yeah. All right. All right. Look. So we're here. We got our co-host here, Travis. Me and John were just kind of going over. We were going over Recovery Fest, going over some events. John was giving us some history on Recovery Fest. But we wanted to do a part 2, y'all, because part 1 was going so good. John was giving us a great breakdown of his story and how his life came. How he got into recovery and kind of things that happened, and then he started breaking down how McShin started. And right when we were getting ready towards the end, we started talking about a little bit of the transition of what he's going through and how it feels. So I kind of wanted to pick back
Pick
up.
off?
Yeah,
pick off.
Pick off. Kind of wanted to pick back.
I want to
up.
go back and get them all the way out the door, man.
I wanted to pick back up where we left off at. So we left off, right around there. So I wanted to kind of pick back up there. John, so tell us, and I know we might get into some other stuff. We might talk about some debates we were having yesterday. But let's get to where we were at before last week when we did this, because it was really good information, y'all. A lot of people were loving hearing John talk about how he formed McShin with his wife and how it's things have came in the process. So John's going through a big a big change in his life, and it's the transition period what we were talking about. So let's go back to that, John. How is there some fears there? Some excitement that you get some more time to do things on your own. I mean, tell us about what's going on there.
I think the biggest change is where here I am I think a very experienced,
Definitely experience and a lot of knowledge. Yeah.
Experience, institutional knowledge. Got my finger on the pulse of most everything we've done, and we spent years, integrating you and Honesty and the new staff, and then basically, overnight, okay, here now I work for you, and then I don't mind working for you. And Honesty, I think it's a blessing, and it's a wonderful experience, But and me and you talked about this, We started in 2004. We didn't have zero policy, none. And within a few weeks, we had a one-pager. After a year, we might have had 3 pages. And mainly housing policies, sober home policies. Okay, you come along, and I go downstairs one day, and we got a bookcase of policy. We must have 5,000 policies in this building.
It's a little much there.
And I don't know them all, and then every now and then when I find myself breaking a policy I didn't know about, that typically that could irritate me, especially if I don't like it.
Irritate you and me.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us an example what working for Jesse and Honesty means.
Oh, it means a relief from day-to-day pressures, and it really relieves me of a lot of burdens. So and that's the main thing.
That decision making thing you were talking about earlier before he came
Yeah,
on.
I don't really got to make decisions. I just got to, when I hear about decisions made, that's when I usually give input, especially if I didn't like it,
But you would like to, and I know you've expressed this to me before, and I think you might express it to me in honesty. You would like to be able to offer some experience before the decision's made.
No, not necessarily. I think here's one thing I'd like to see change. It's like genie in a bottle, It's like when the policy that I didn't realize was a policy that I don't like and I want to break. I mean, I think I should be allowed to break it. It's real simple, I don't like that policy. I'm not going to follow it.
That's good.
Can you give it? Can,
No,
what's
stop,
an example
stop.
of that? Just one.
I don't want to
example.
get into no examples because I don't want to give nobody no intel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not doing that. But I like
That's intellectual property.
Yeah, that is.
But that right there is some real honesty right
It's total
there.
honesty,
That's some
man.
good honesty, man. He just look, man. I just want to break it because of who I am. Let me break
Exactly.
the damn policy. I get it.
But out of fairness, some of the policies, they really go against our founding principles. And I try to tell people all the time that it's hard for folks to comprehend this if they don't have the historical knowledge of the things I speak of. But pretend like when they went west and they settled a territory, like Wyoming territory. Wyoming, and then 50 years go by, and then the statehood comes along, and once you become a statehood, the rules and regulations that you had in the territory, many of them go away; they're no longer applicable, and then you got to follow the statehood policies.
Yep.
So here at McShin, we were pioneering it. We pioneered this organization. We pioneered the policies. We pioneered the model, the peer model. So now that we become a really the best. I think we may be the only platinum charity in Virginia that's a full service recovery community organization run by authentic recovering people. And now that we're at that level, now that we have all these federal grants, these state grants, we have new laws that come along in the last few years that we got to comply with. We're playing to a whole different drum. And a guy like me, struggles with some of that.
Yeah, you still want to beat to your own drum.
Wild West.
And
not necessarily the modern. I got another example.
Well, let me because what you talked about the Wyoming, so it's almost like when the states got founded, there was just one colony, right? And then as it grew into the United States of America, the laws had to change.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's what's happened at McShin.
Yeah, exactly.
So back then, when it was founded on those principles are still true to us. Like, we still are a place of principles, but as it's grown, policies had to be adopted.
You're right. And trust me, I'm 100% behind them. I'm just saying some of them I don't like. But, we were founded, like our original board of directors were founded by primarily old-timers in a variety of 12-step
12-step, right? Yeah.
And we had community leaders and church folks, but the point was we were a spiritual group conscience. We run as a spiritual group conscience. Now we can still run as a spiritual group conscience. However, when laws and policies and bureaucracy comes into play, you got to adhere to those. And it's a natural evolution. It's a good, healthy evolution.
There's benefits to it, right?
Yeah, definitely benefits.
Agreed, there's benefits.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about what you talked about with the board, John, early on. So as McShin grew, we started becoming MAT friendly. Was there like push to those early board members when that happened?
No, not really. Where the push came in was from like the abstinent-based 12-step community.
The outside of
us.
Yeah.
We understood. We pioneered buprenorphine here in 2004. We used it mainly as a detox tool to get folks off of opiates and get them into recovery. And but then 10 years later, 15 years later, now it's become like the gold standard according to SAMHSA and American Society of Addiction Medicine, and that's a question mark for the abstinent-based folks, and there's other pathways out there too. So, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not even judging. I'm just saying,
other pathways, for instance. Well,
you got like in 2004, there was 3 major pathways in America to recovery. AA, NA, and Christian faith-based. And that's coming right out the SAMHSA national report they put out every year. I didn't make that up. And now you got guys with, and this is probably good, but I run with people with 10, 15 years clean. They've never even been to a 12-step meeting. And then a lot of them ain't even on MAT. It's just that connection to a recovery herd, a recovering community. That's it, and it's its own pathway.
Yeah, but let me ask you this for the viewers out there, because this is another question, but I'm not going to get into the question. But what do you practice though?
Well, I'm an abstinent-based 12-stepper myself.
You're a 12-stepper, so
that's why you can say 41 years clean.
But yet you support
100% any pathway, anything that gets you away from a life-threatening or life-damaging way of life using some type of substance. If you can reduce that, see, I like the old language of harm reduction.
Yeah.
We called that harm. Everything was harm reduction when we started. It was either recovery or harm reduction. There was nothing in between. Now harm reduction has become a recovery pathway, and that's so be it. I'm not going to argue with what people want to name
that's
stuff.
That's a different dichotomy there. So you're abstinence based, but yet you believe and support in MAT pathways.
Yeah, what the drugs out there now we can't play with. Fentanyl you're going to die if you do fentanyl. You're not going to live. Everybody that does fentanyl, sooner or later you're going to die. It's Russian roulette, especially the one pill kills on the new kids starting out. So, you got to be aware of that. So how can we reduce that? And that's where prevention and harm reduction comes in. And that's the frontier right now.
What kind of knowledge or have you researched any like herbal remedies?
Well, you're talking plant-based.
Yeah.
I think some of the most promising emerging practices is going to be plant-based. And that doesn't mean pharmaceuticals will go away or abstinent will go away. It's another major tool in the toolbox.
Have you researched any of those, for instance?
Yeah, he has. But hold on.
I have.
Yeah, but
I'm an expert on it.
Yeah. Well, in order to be an expert on it, I do think the only thing that would take away from your validity of being an expert is if you hadn't done it. You got to do it. So if you did it, now
that's bullshit right there. No.
Look, but I
There
want
is
to
research.
I want to ask.
Thank you, research.
Yeah, by doing it, right? But I want to ask you though. I wonder if anybody out here listening, or if you have any connections, who could have some data that would show how many people actually stay. So when you get on MAT, and we'll use Suboxone for example. Which I'm open. I'm like you, John. Whatever. I know what I do. I know my pathway. But I wonder if there's data that would show how many people actually stay clean, right? If they have a reoccurrence of use with another substance, whether it's alcohol, whether it's cocaine, whether it's marijuana, if they do something else. I wonder if there's data out there. I'm pretty sure there is. But
here's how data works. Like you take MAT. This is a great example. They got a ton of money behind it. They're all about data. You can't even get the drug if you're not part of data. So to collect data on anything scientific, as especially a FDA approved drug, it's going to be there. It's heavily funded to collect it.
Like a clinical trial?
Like that plus ongoing use prescribed. And a good example is like you can't get a federal grant if 30% of your federal grant is going to go to be toward management, data, collection, controls. Now, historically in America, you look at 12-step programs. They don't care about. They're anonymous. They ain't collecting data, man. Yeah, I mean, the only way you can get data from them is you can count the meetings in America. Okay, we got 100,000 12-step meetings. You got 50 people on average. They have an old-timer rate. That's how you collect it. Now, that's called anecdotal data in the real world.
Yeah.
But yet, most people know it's out there. It's effective. It works. But most people also know that out of all the people that need help, maybe 10% get help. So we got 90% of our population need help that's out there hanging to dry. And that's where the harm reduction and the prevention and the education comes in. That, to me, is the next frontier. How are we going to reach more people? Well, let's create a caveat for reaching those people. And that's what I'm excited about right now.
That's a high number, 90%.
It might be 89, it might be 85. It depends on the community, But I think most experts will say that out of 25 million Americans that need help, only 2.5 million, 3 million, 3.5 are getting some type of connection, some access point to some sort of education or messaging, and the rest of them, nobody goes after them, and I think that's a shame.
Yeah. Let's go back. I want to reel back in you two to the first question that we asked, and I think you answered it. But I'm curious: is there any fears to what's going on to this transition? You got any fears there? You're letting go of the reins. You've done it now. You've done it, for a good while now. Any fears there?
Well, like I mentioned to you in honesty one day, I said, look, you got to realize, like I like the family farm. I just spent 19 years building this farm. Obviously, you're getting old, and it's time to, cut back. You got to turn the farm over to the people coming behind you, and that and for anybody, I think that would be somewhat difficult, especially since you still don't really want to leave the farm.
Yeah, I can see that because you're hands-on.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's my gift to the earth, I think, is my ability, my institutional knowledge, my ability to, vision, do things, want to do things. Yeah, but I still want a job too, this has somehow become my job, and then I like working, and I like a job, and I'm not ready to fully retire. That ain't going to happen, so, but I think Yeah,
It's got to happen one day, though. I mean, but
Now, hold
but I
on,
want to
hold
talk
on,
about
because John
retirement.
still has a lot to offer.
Hey,
this is
let me
this is
remind
a
you.
wealth of value.
Let me remind you of Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken when he was 65 years old. Okay,
Yeah.
so and I'm
Did he
turning
really?
65.
He started
yeah,
with 65?
yeah. See, that's institutional knowledge you guys don't know about.
Well, so what do you want to start your own KFC now?
What do you think-
Maybe.
Do you think you could guess the 11 herbs and spices inside of this?
Well, he went on to live into his 90s, and you see where Kentucky Fried Chicken, they were like the first IOP.
IOP, no.
The first Wall Street. What do you call it? Yeah.
Conglomerate?
IPO.
IPO. Well, listen,
Do
those-
you remember when KFC used to have the all you can eat? You can go in there and just all you can eat up inside that.
that was a
restaurant?
Wendy's.
No, it was KFC.
I think Wendy's had the all you can eat, but do you know those 11
Wendy's
herbs
never had all
and
you can eat.
spices are
You know,
like a top
Nobody
state
knew.
secrets?
Nobody knew who Harry Truman was until he was like 40
Wendy's
years
all
old.
you can eat. Anybody out there
Yeah,
ever heard of Wendy's?
Wendy's
all
had
you
a
can
salad
eat?
bar, all you can eat. They had a
we're-
salad bar.
KFC had all you can eat.
KFC never had.
They
an all
probably,
you
yeah, they did. They had a buffet
They had
one
a buffet.
time.
can eat. Listen, could you guess
You were in
4
prison.
of
You were
the
in
11
prison.
herbs and spices?
No.
Could you guess 4 of them? out of the
Salt,
Kentucky Fried Chicken?
pepper, oregano, and dill.
He's been to KFC.
Dill?
Yeah, it's on the
And
wall.
dill?
Yeah, I know it's hard to believe.
What is dill?
Man, don't even go there.
Hey, but look, let me ask you something, John. So I know, like, there's a point in my life, like, I'm young. I'm not like young, but I'm young. Like, where I do want to retire. Like, and when I say retire, I mean, like, I just want to be able to relax,
Well,
and just do what I want, come and go, and do my own hobbies, have fun, that kind of stuff. You don't want that?
No, because see, I got a purpose in life, and my purpose is carrying that message of hope. And
You can't do that you can't do that like that.
Have you ever heard that the number one cause of death is retirement?
retirement.
It is.
John's
It's
not trying to die.
100%.
Why are you trying to kill John,
So,
Jesse?
so is that the fear? Well,
You know, some preachers want to retire and some don't. They want to keep preaching. They got
still
a
have a
message to
calling,
preach.
a
Yeah,
message,
man, it's a
yeah.
calling. It's a purpose. So, do I want to, take more time off and do more things with the wife? Absolutely. But God knows my purpose on earth is to carry that hope shot. And as long as I'm carrying it, you want to impact the most people you can.
And he has a very effective message.
yeah, that's
Jesse.
what NA&A is for.
Well, that's what employment and work and business is for too, man.
Yeah.
Look, hey, here you go, here you go, both of you newcomers.
He's
on
on
your
your
side.
side. He's on your side. Right now. He's not.
That's
he's not
about to
with me.
change.
But look what one hope dealer married another hope dealer was able to accomplish, and guess what? We still married. We still got accomplishments to
Big
do.
hope family. Just
Yeah.
hope brimming everywhere.
And if all you guys and the people coming behind you go out and do the same thing, we should have a complete school of hope dealers from
you should have seen a
16 to 100.
celebration. All the people that talked and had like little intimate, endearing stories of how John had
Oh,
helped
you
and
just
took the
left it.
time.
You just left it for open roast.
There's a lot of hope.
Open roast. You didn't have no.
No, he
speakers?
called
Yeah.
on him. He called. Yeah, he
It
called.
was a
on each and
Hawaiian
everybody.
style meeting.
Yeah, Hawaiian. What was that? What was the name of that stuff? Not Maui Wowie, but Puna peanut butter. Yeah, it was a Puna peanut butter.
Puna butter.
It was a Puna butter
Puna
style
hash
meeting.
bud. Yeah. Figured you would have picked up on
Oh,
that.
he remembered that.
That's the
he
one
remembered that
thing
from the
I
last
remember
podcast.
from the last interview.
Yeah, but in Hawaii, a lot of times the chairperson guides the meeting.
I went to a
It's
Hawaii.
like a
And he had like his own chair. It was like a king's chair in there.
No.
Like everybody else was sitting in these fold out chairs.
No.
And John had this big plush,
You-
like pleather green chair, and he was sitting back in it with a crown on
did
it.
they bring him coffee? Did they bring him coffee?
Did they? Coffee and cake.
They brought it up.
Hey, look, you
They
come
served
early,
it to
you get a
him.
good seat. That's the
Is that what
first
it is?
principle of recovery.
And you've been
Yeah.
coming early for 41
big guys.
years.
Yeah, and I get the good seat, man.
Best seat in the house.
And right on the other side of that wall, y'all didn't realize it, but there's a room full of good seats. You could have pulled one out like I did and got a good seat,
No, I had a
man.
pretty good seat. I was close to the action.
Let me ask you. All right, so I want to switch gears a little bit, John, because you got 41 years. I'm glad you brought that anniversary up, Trav. 40 freaking 1 years in recovery, man. What are some tips or some pointers you would give somebody new to recovery? And I'm talking about like your own personal. Like, what would you give them if you're talking to a newcomer? What are some tips you would give them? Because we got a lot of, we got over 500 jails and prisons that log into this podcast, and they check this out weekly. We're always getting emails and phone calls from people in prison and jail. And, if you had to give like some tips to some people early in recovery, what would you give them?
Well, first of all, you don't use no matter what. I mean, it's real simple shit. You
Keep
get
it
what you
simple.
get when you do what you do. If you stop using drugs and drinking, and then the second tip is hang around with other successful recovering people, and you do what they do. You do what they do, you get what they get. It is as simple as that. I mean,
We just complicate that shit, don't we?
people want to, they get up in their head, and they got different ideas that never worked before, by the way. But for some reason, they think it's going to work this time. And then I tell everybody, look, recovery doesn't have to be a life sentence or a death sentence. Stay clean long enough, get your life back, have some sort of awakening of some kind, find your true purpose. And I use a 5-year guideline. If you can stay clean for 5 years, get your life straight, get money in the bank, find a better purpose than drug use, most people won't go back and ruin their lives.
It's for some people, it's really hard to see that 5 years though.
Well, that's why we say day at a time.
Yeah,
It's just a day at a time. I still live a day at a time.
So when are we not newcomers?
Well, all right. Honestly, the other night she's got 15 years. And I said, all right, you're not a newcomer no more. So 15 years must be the new old.
15 years is a new thing. Oh my God. 3 more
15's
years.
the new 30.
Oh, I
Three more
promise.
years.
Yeah,
3 more years.
But I promise you, if you got 15 days clean at that smoke shack and a newcomer shows up, they see that 15 days as an old timer, plain and simple.
Oh,
man.
heck yeah.
So,
Oh, it's all relative.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Einstein's theory of relativity.
Yeah, I mean, so you're an old timer when you say you are.
Yeah, it's all about what you.
Like my friend Chris T. Every time he sees me, he calls me newcomer.
How long does he have?
He got a few weeks longer than me, or
Oh,
a
that
month or
counts.
two, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's got more clean time than you.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a commercial break out there. Now I just got to use the bathroom real quick.
Well,
I've been
you go
drinking-
do what you got
I'm
to do.
drinking gallons of
look,
water here, so you and Travis.
In
continue to
absence
talk.
of an unprepared newcomer,
how
the
did-
other guys are going to go at
Yeah,
it.
how
All
did
right.
you come to work? And
If you were in court standing before the judge and he's getting ready to sentence you, you go say, "Oh, got to go take a bathroom break,
I
Your
know.
Honor."
Listen, all y'all tuning in. I'll
That's
be right
crazy,
back. I'll be
man.
right back. to
Are
you on
moderate this.
medication,
Just
man?
hang in there. I'll be right back.
I mean, you on water pills?
Gallon of
I don't
water.
understand it, man. All right, Trav. Now we can get down to some real business.
yeah, listen. Have you ever? You've taken a lot of long trips. A lot of long trips to spread the message.
What do you call a long trip?
Well, I mean, like
A week or
trip
two,
period.
or
Well, let's just say you went like from here to North Carolina, or even from here to the beach, but even longer, you would find this. So, like, have you ever been? When you're driving down the interstate and you get in a pack of cars, and it'll usually be you and another car sometimes, and y'all will ride together for so long. Could be like 100 miles or two. Somebody needs to get gas, and you kind of got like this all of a sudden this like psychic connection with the other person, and y'all been riding together so long it's almost like you know them even though you've never said one word to them. And when they peel off to get off the interstate to either get gas or whatever, do you ever feel the need like, hey man, we've been in this fight together for a long time, should I get off the interstate with them? Or do you find it hard to say goodbye to them?
Well, you're talking about two people speeding, breaking the law, feeding into getting down the road.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, yeah, but every now and then you go, well, that was a good 200-mile hit right there,
Yeah,
or whatever.
well,
And sometimes I get off, get gas with them. We wave at each other at the
that's
pump,
like,
man.
it's like you've known each other for years.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Cool bumper stickers.
You get that psychic thing
Yeah,
going.
I know that's a true thing, isn't it? That's a one way to find, that psychic.
What the
ability
hell that
to
got to
read
do with recovery? I know that's
Well,
leading into something.
I don't know. I just, I don't know. Just like,
Well,
like
if you hang out with an old timer long enough,
Yeah.
you get that
You
psychic
get that
thing
psychic
going.
ability,
Maybe I can be one of those.
yeah, you're there.
And then you watch the newcomers all these years keep screwing up, and you get that psychic thing. Boy, I'm glad I'm clean and I ain't messing up.
Yeah, listen, I was really amazed at just how one person's life can affect so many people. I mean, that celebration was really awesome. I mean, did you hear the byproduct of just you? Like, you just summed up your recovery in about 3 sentences, and you kept it simple, and it was bang, bang, bang. And just as a byproduct of that simple model that you stuck to, there was like the place was packed and they all had nothing but like, John did this for me early in recovery. John took his time like this. Where did he find the time to do this? And you kept it just that simple. 3 sentences.
but to be clear, I didn't do anything for anybody that wasn't done for me.
Right.
And that's how this thing should work. We're never gonna cure addiction in America, but what we can cure is capacity. And we're going to do that by recovery. Recovery is a solution for addiction. It's that simple. Even Dr. DuPont, he makes that real clear. You got to look to that recovering community. So just think, we got 25 million Johns out there in America right now in recovery. Now, if we can get 5 million people to step up and kind of do what me and you and Jesse are doing here at McShin and the people here at McShin, we should have a recovery center on every corner in every town instead of a bar or a liquor store. And when we get there, and you got to think about it, we do have all over America. You got these health centers, you got these community service boards, you got old people places where they go to. You got all kind of stuff. And just now in 2023, you know, it's hard to find a recovery center in every city. They just don't exist, but we need to get them, and that's going to change the world. That'll change the face of addiction in America.
Yeah, you never just sit back as a byproduct and just say just by staying clean, keeping it simple, and having a purpose, like the byproduct of that, all the people that you like touch. I mean, everybody's
what that makes when I think like that, I think, what can I do more to get more people doing what I've done, me and Carol's done, and what we've done at McShin. That's where I go to. That's why retirement ain't an option, because I know lives count, lives matter. The more I do, the more we're going to impact these people. So that's the simple version. But I want to go back to riding down the highway.
Yeah,
a lot of times I'm on a road trip and I'll think, what the first pioneers must have experienced, man. We drove to L.A. and back, a couple months ago, and I can only imagine Lewis and Clark making that trip, man. So
or the Oregon Trail, the Donner family.
Yeah, but even when I'm in a traffic jam, I'm thinking, I bet them boys in them canoes and wagon trains would love to be in this air-conditioned car.
That was definitely different than riding in a nice AC car, though.
Yeah, 100%. So I never lose sense of gratitude when I travel.
Yeah. And going back to that, what we were talking about, so if you get one of those riding buddies, do you prefer to be the lead car or the back car?
Hell no, I want to follow them. Let them get the
just in
ticket,
case,
man.
let them get the ticket.
Matter of fact, I irritate and push them along, and they get behind me. I slow down enough for them to get pissed off and drive around.
Yeah, let them take one for the team, even though y'all have that close. Yeah, that's very selfish of you, Jim.
Welcome back, Jeff. Did you wash your hands?
I did.
You
We
didn't.
actually
You
we
did
had
not.
we had a training. Who was in that training yesterday?
You know
Yeah,
what
we
I
had
learned
an
from that?
infectious control training
Yeah,
yesterday.
and they were awesome. The nurses that came in and did that.
But shout out to VDHS, the Virginia Department of Health came in and did a training for us yesterday.
What did they train you on?
On how to wash your hands, and what I learned was
30 seconds, hot water.
Yeah,
actually
and
20 seconds.
And what I actually learned was
30.
washing your
They
hands
said 20.
does absolutely nothing. Because
Yeah, but your hands are actually
you
dirty.
can even wash them and then put the black light on there, and it's still going to be jumping like bed sheets at a hotel.
It does not absolutely do nothing. It does something. The point of that was like you
minimal.
got to make sure you do it.
It was minimal.
Because if you
minimal.
don't do it, just
I didn't
imagine.
understand all the complex steps into washing your hands too. It
was definitely complex steps, wasn't it?
And you know what I noticed out of this? The people that take this seriously have turned out to be kind of like a little bit paranoid. Would you agree with that?
So I guess
y'all in there
what
learning how to
Travis-
wash your hands. I'm out in the community to engaging newcomers, trying to convince them to go to a meeting, man.
What Travis is saying is he doesn't wash his hands.
Yeah,
Just
that's
so
all
you
I'm
know.
saying.
Just-
Like if there's going to be something to catch, I'd rather just get it over with quick.
Yeah.
Like here, come here and give me a hug and here.
He didn't get the.
There's a hospital one time put those little alcohol things at all the doorway entrances,
Yeah.
and they ended Mercer in that hospital. So there might be a little bit to.
Yeah, well,
washing your hands. I could
be
Travis
wrong.
didn't
I'm
get
not
the.
always right.
He didn't get the vaccine, and he's not going to wash his hands. Basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah, basically.
Well,
So
I like what, but yeah, listen to this.
he's still new. He's still working the first step. So
yeah, but
I
you,
don't even know if he's working that.
You increase your.
you ain't
immune
working
system.
the steps, man.
Yeah, I'm working the
What step
steps.
you on?
this is good. What step
Honestly,
are you on?
what step are you on?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm practicing step 1.
Oh my God.
But I am
you sat down
on.
with your
I am
sponsor?
on step 3.
Let me give you
What?
an old timer
Hold on.
hit.
You're on step 3 with your sponsor.
No, I'm just on step 3, but I'm practicing the
confused.
first one. Well, I'm pretty versed in the first one, but it's one that you have to stay practicing for the rest of your
Have
life.
you done any step work with your sponsor?
Yeah, I've done step work.
All right, listen up, newcomer.
You know what I do every night?
Listen
also,
up,
I'm really
man.
on the 10th
I didn't
step.
want to hear that shit, man.
'Cause
You've been how long? You've been
Now
here how
listen-
long? You only on the first step, man?
Listen. I 10
Shut
step.
the hell
I'm on the
up, man.
10 step every night.
You gonna
I'm
kill
pretty
people.
good at the 10 step, and I have 12 step.
I hope.
So
I
pretty
hope,
much.
I hope the program house isn't listening to this here.
Well, actually, the 10 step is something you can probably do to
Every
yourself,
night.
and I
Every
did that
night.
as a newcomer
Or as a group.
So I
As a
support
group.
that thinking.
It's
But
very-
I did my first 5 steps in my first 5 months.
Yeah, that's about where I'm
And
at.
I'm still no. I wrote them out, did them with a sponsor, and here I am, 41 years later. So you might want to get cracking on them steps.
You were pretty. It took me. I had to pick a pathway.
No.
There's so many pathways. I was confused. It was a lot of paths. They were all sitting in front of me. I was like, which way do I go here?
You're a 12-stepper.
That's actually really good.
But you're a bad 12-stepper.
I'm a 12-stepper. Yeah, with a little bit of faith.
Many times you've been to prison, you think you jump on them steps.
I just wish we could consolidate this into more like a 6-step thing. You know what I mean? It seems like
Hey, let me reel this back.
Graveyards full of 6-steppers, man.
Hold on, I want to say something because Travis, you actually made a good point, man.
Yeah.
There is. I wonder if like people that are new to recovery that have never had a taste of recovery, if they come to places like this and they're like, man, there's so many damn pathways. I don't know what to do. What do I do?
What's the right one?
Yeah,
I don't want to choose wrong.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like.
All right, let me give
case.
both.
There's
you.
one called smart, so that would like give you the natural. Like I want to be smart. And then there's like,
Listen. Let me give.
And you're gonna know the answer to this because you're a newcomer.
but you support many pathways, John. So remember that before you give this answer.
Stop.
All right.
Both of you. If you're not on a pathway, that part of that journey isn't going to be to reach back and help other people. We're going to run out of the movement here real soon. But one thing I love about 12-step pathways, you find your purpose, and the purpose is to actually reach back and carry that message, and it brings so many more people to the recovery process. So all these other pathways, if they're missing that, like the MAT pathway, if they don't have a social connection, give back component to that, the future is going to look like a bunch of people going to a doctor, getting medication, and then we're going to rely on doctors and bureaucrats and politicians to solve our problem. That ain't going to happen. So,
but John, that's not answering. You're not answering the question at all, John. You're like
we agree with that.
Yeah. You're talking about something totally different. I'm just saying. So this is a valid point, and I'm not a newcomer. Doesn't matter what you say. I know I'm not a newcomer.
But why would you choose a pathway where there's no hope?
But no,
because there's many of them, and like if we're promoting that there's a choice for many of them.
Yeah.
So you're a newcomer coming in, you're facing these choices. You don't know anything about 12-step. You don't know anything about SMART. You don't know anything about Dharma. So you got all these.
Kevin Kelly got the right comment right there, man.
Yeah. Well, stay focused here for a second, John. Because the one of the most beautiful things that you have to do in life is just allow people to teach you, right? You don't always know everything, and what I'm saying is it could be confusing for a new person to have like 10 different pathways and not know anything. So that what I would say to that, because I agree with you, that could be confusing. Now, I know you just were saying that to say that, Trav. That wasn't the truth. Yeah. But what I would say to somebody that's new and has that confusing thing, allow somebody in this process to teach you. Because John didn't get 41 years by this. He allows somebody to teach him. Now, he might, he struggles with that now, but he still leans on people, right? So if you want to learn about different pathways, get in somebody's back pocket. Allow them to teach you. That's what I would suggest to a newcomer that's here struggling and like, man, there's freaking SMART recovery. There's NA, there's A. What the hell do I do? Well, look, just get in somebody's ear, get in somebody's pocket, and allow them to teach you. That would be the suggestion I would give. So I want to switch gears, right, John? Because I've been wanting to ask you this, man. How is because you're writing a book. You're writing a book on yourself. How's that going?
Well, I'm a lazy writer, so
are you dictating the book and somebody writing it?
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
if I was going to do it, that's what I would do.
And
too.
look, like everything in my life, if it's God's will, it'll happen. If it's my will, it probably won't happen. So if I don't have the wherewithal to empower new people to engage in some of these activities, it probably won't get written. But I think one of those teaching tools in life.
Hold on. So you want the book to be written by a newcomer? So is this like a biography or autobiography? Do you want it your way, or do you want the perception of other people?
He just doesn't want to do the work. So all that work it took to get to 41 years.
What happened to doing all the work? I know the work is so fulfilling and all that.
You
crap
work
you were
smarter, not harder.
You know what? I like
that. Sounds like
John.
an old painter.
That's
right
definitely
there.
an old timer right
contractor.
But it's like if you can teach people that why would you turn that opportunity down? You know the value somebody would get by dictating and putting this thing on paper. My God, that could be the next legacy provider in the recovery world.
So you
mean
want
the
somebody
value?
else to dictate your story, or do you want to dictate it and they
I
write
think he
it
meant
down?
the value that they would get by writing the book is what you're saying.
100%. Not only that, like, see, back in the day, I was like this awesome wallpaper hanger, faux finisher painter, and I had a lot of techniques and secrets nobody possessed, but I didn't want to go to the grave with them, so I constantly taught people everything I knew. As a result, I mean, there's quite a few, the top painters and paper hangers and faux finishers in Richmond got my DNA in them, and that's a great thing. And same with recovery. I got my sponsor's DNA in my spiritual bank and his sponsor and the other sponsors I've had. And it's a spiritual principle that I carry in all my affairs, and that would include writing a book. I want to transfer this stuff so these people can really know the essence of spiritual awakening and recovery. And I don't care if a book gets written or not. It's all in the journey, not the outcome.
Well, how's it going? Because I know a couple people that have told me that they're helping you out with it, and what I
Well,
mean helping out is like doing the writing part.
Well,
transcribing part.
they all suck, man. They all talk a
Yeah.
good game, and
I
nobody.
hope none of them are watching this right now.
I hope
But
they're
they're
all watching.
probably not. They're out self-willing, running riot right now, doing what they want. They'll probably end up in jail or
Not to
dead.
get off subject, but what is what's a faux? A faux what?
That's a
faux?
French word for fake. You know, with a little more institutional knowledge, you would have
No,
known.
you said you
that.
were a faux hanger.
faux finisher,
A faux finisher.
and faux is the French
Now,
word for
so
fake.
Fake?
I
You were a
thought-
fake finisher?
Faux.
You were a fake finisher.
Like I can take a wall, that wall right there, I can make it look either like marble or walnut, or you pick something.
But
I
you know.
thought faux was like a noodle.
Yeah, but if you say it's what
No.
you define it as, that means you're a fake finisher?
No, that's what the history books refine.
Yeah, he had somebody else finishing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him.
You could say you're a fake finisher in the painting business.
Yeah.
yeah,
hell is a
yeah.
fake
But faux is the correct word to use.
Faux finisher.
You
Faux finisher.
You guys are showing your ignorance.
I'm just saying I haven't used that word. We're probably showing our
'Cause you
age a
don't-
little bit.
'cause you
and
know
so
very
are you.
little.
Because I think that word, because paper hanger is outdated and so is faux.
Yeah,
but,
I
mean,
think paper hanger will be coming back one
I
day.
thought paper hanger was a person that wrote bad checks. That's
But-
what.
where you resided at.
But look, John, just because we don't know the definition of a word doesn't mean we're ignorant.
Well, I think if you really want to know, you ask the question, you get
We
the
asked you.
answer.
Yeah, I'm asking,
But,
yeah.
but to go into a dissertation on idiotism, I don't think that's a very good
Good
response.
word.
Well, no, I think the idiotism would be how you used it in a sentence. A faux finisher.
I used it appropriately.
Well, you
He-
put a
he
little
twisted.
country twang on it, so I was just trying to walk down
Steve,
the etymology.
Google faux finisher. I need to know
Please.
if there's a faux finisher.
Because I all the way think he just made something
Listen,
up.
anybody out there, have y'all ever heard of a faux finisher? Let us know if you heard of faux finisher.
Or fake finisher.
Barbie, don't
faux,
try to
that means
co-sign
faux.
this either.
Yeah, she
Faux
does.
finisher.
Faux.
Well, I
Fake
actually got
finisher.
I got the articles on my wall downstairs.
Does it
so-
say faux finisher in
See,
it?
look at Christopher. He knows what it is. Faux
Fox.
finisher.
How do you
Well,
pronounce?
if you don't know,
I don't think
That's
that
not how you
means faux.
pronounce faux.
that's
Faux.
exactly how you pronounce
Cricket,
it.
how do you pronounce that, Cricket?
I
Come
said
on
it's
in
a
here.
French word.
Cricket,
Can you
come up
spell
here.
it out how the word is pronounced?
Cricket, come up
instead
here
of-
to the podcast room and pronounce that.
Yeah, please.
Cricket's
report
Cricket's
to
a bit of an artist. He knows what he's talking about.
Faux?
Faux.
Come on, Cricket.
He's a
Dang it.
co-signer. He's a
That
paper
is
hanging
his.
co-signer.
That is John's
Yeah.
protege.
Yeah.
Protege. Yeah, of course you would, Cricket.
You're getting the udder in charge for this paper hanging.
That's
too.
why Cricket's the future leader of McShin right there, man. I mean,
You hear that, Cricket?
future fearless leader,
big
the
shit.
co-signer,
All
the
right.
utterer.
So, have you made any leeway with the book though? Seriously, is it?
you just asked me the question. I just gave you the answer. I mean,
So no
I'm-
chapters have
he
been
said
written?
they suck.
No, 'cause I'm still waiting on the people that committed to
'Cause-
do it.
well, 'cause
and then if I like it, then we'll go to the next one.
Because
Is this a life
on a
story
serious,
type
but on
thing?
a serious note, John, you should write a book about your story. I'm
Yeah,
not,
see,
I'm not
you
BSing, man.
you're trying to keep me out of here to spend all my days
can
writing a
write it
book.
up here.
Like I go to the coast of Maine and you get a cabin and write a book.
like
Hell
the
no,
movie Misery.
man. Yeah. I'm gonna stay every day I can up in here just to show up in Jess's office
and I'll be the misery. What
and
was the
ask
lady's
him about
name?
this policy question,
I'm gonna
man.
break your legs. What was that lady's name?
Yeah, Annie Wilkes.
I'm gonna be.
So
Annie
why do
Wilkes.
we no longer take
hobbling
newcomers?
Have you ever heard of the hobbling technique?
That movie was sick, man. But break your legs, John. Write the book. Damn.
Actually, I had Matt Connor one time put a bunch of chapters together. So I probably got 100 pages, 200 pages already.
I thought he was putting chapters together about
the
here.
McShin model.
Yeah.
That'll be part of the book.
That's part of
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a thick book.
It sounds like a long book.
Yeah,
Sounds like
I'm even gonna put in there what not to do.
sounds like War and Peace.
It might be. That's a great book, man. They made a movie out of that.
Did you watch? Did you
A
read the book or
series.
just watch the movie?
I read the book.
Ain't no.
I read a book a day deployed on 3 deployments. I know I read at least 2,000 books, and War and Peace was one of them.
There's no way you read
I
War and
read-
Peace in
I-
one day.
You
You said a book a day.
I did, and War and Peace might have actually been a
definitely
long
lying.
day or a 2-day book.
A
Look, hold
long.
on. Listen, you definitely just told what the kids.
No.
kids
that
don't-
might have been a 2-day
Cap?
book.
It's a cap. Cap. You wrote a book. You read a book a day.
Typically, I'd
chapters.
read a book a day or out to sea.
The
out at sea.
Hawaiian Times does not count as a book.
Yeah.
No, I read.
Puna peanut butter.
You got no
Times.
idea. I read all war books and westerns and whatever the ship's library had. We'd pass books around left and right.
So War and Peace was in the
What
library.
was there? A couple of those gangster books I read, and the
Iceberg Slim?
the spy novels. I read a bunch of those.
Spies
The
are not
espionage
gangsters.
ones, man.
like
Those are
Mission
good books,
Impossible.
Yeah, but I read a lot on deployment. But ever since then, I read very few books. I read literature.
Well, look, anybody out there, I
Newspapers.
want to say this, anybody out there that would be interested in transcribing John's book. No, John's going to
Oh,
do
he's
the
going to do that.
dictating,
Oh, I thought he wanted
and you
got to
to transcribe it. Anybody interested in doing it, he's looking for a transcriber of his book. I think it would be great, honestly.
Hopefully
Jesse
you know
just looking for
shorthand.
projects for me, keep me out the building, man. We don't worry about that, man.
I'm looking. Look, I think his book. What do y'all think? His book would be a bestseller. Don't y'all think out there? Anybody out there? Hit the like button. If you think his book will be a bestseller, hit a little like button. Give me a like. Give me a comment. If you think his book will be a
thumbs up.
bestseller,
Man.
like, subscribe to that podcast right now. Like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. But if you think John Shinholser's book would be a bestseller, then let us know. Let us know, because I think he needs to write this book. I'm not
Well,
BSing.
best selling. If you sell 20 books on Amazon,
Yeah, I
you
was
get a
going to say, like,
bestseller
what kind of
sticker,
bestseller
man.
are we talking about here? Are
Yeah.
we talking about a New York Times bestseller?
Selling.
Because, or are we talking like a Richmond Times Dispatch bestseller? Or are we talking like a McShin bestseller? Because,
Right.
like, there seems to be some, like, I'm a little confused. on this
Anybody
too.
can write a book and make it a bestseller,
Well, educate me on that then.
Yeah.
What does that mean, you two?
Google
no,
it.
I'm just asking you, what kind of bestseller do you think it
What
would be?
makes something a bestseller?
It sells a lot?
You got to Google that, but I know there's different levels of bestsellers.
I'd buy one, John.
Yeah.
How much you selling them for? $1?
Well, let's reframe the question. Would you buy John's book if you read
I
it?
would.
I
Anybody
might
out
I
there?
might just make it a video one too. Who
Just
knows?
make a movie.
That would be
Yeah, movie. We could start the movie right now for real.
So you
do
you
like
would-
a documentary.
So you'd write a manuscript first.
Just follow John around and make sure you send me where he's at too. Follow him around, videotape him, let me know where
Well,
he's at.
then that wouldn't be a life story.
You know, we
because
started doing a video movie one time.
did?
We really did. Me and
Documentary.
way back when that other fella was here. What was his name? The one that moved to South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Todd. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Todd. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some. I got so much great footage just laying on the floor somewhere.
We're laying on the floor
Yeah,
somewhere.
it was gonna be like a recovery journey.
No,
you know.
he's saying the footage that he got is laying.
right.
Oh, it's laying on the floor
Not
now.
footage of him laying on the floor.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
But
Yeah,
but
that's
there's
a little
there's so many books written now about addicts and their recovery journey.
Yeah.
I think what we need now is just what is this? Let's stick with the solution to addiction.
Yeah. You got a lot of solutions,
Well,
John.
now that you talk, so tell us, because we're getting ready we're coming to a close. What's the solution? What do you think the solution is, John? John don't want to close. I can get a
No,
little
Solution
He's
to
not
what?
ready
Writing
to
the book
close.
or to
The solution to America's addiction epidemic is to school up not only the recovering community, but give them the resources and create the policies they need to expand capacity for the recovery centers, the recovering oriented system of care, but the real one, not this, stuff going on now, but we got to do a better job with that, plain and simple.
Well, let me ask y'all both this, mainly you, John, but Travis too. So, do y'all believe that substance use disorder is a disease?
I believe it's a disease of your thinking, definitely. It's like disease thinking, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think
Brain
it's a
disease.
Yeah,
It's a brain disease. That's scientifically proven.
Yeah. Then I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
What
no
about
question.
you, John?
Absolutely. I mean, the science is in. Science says it's a brain disease. It's a brain disorder.
Do we think it's an incurable disease?
I think it's a manageable disease. But no, I don't think it's incurable because I think that all things are possible. But I think that
You can be cured from substance abuse, but
Yeah.
you can't be cured from the disease of addiction.
yeah, the thinking part I think
So-
you always have to work on and practice.
Okay. Yeah. So we can't be cured.
Retraining your brain
we-
constantly.
Like if I went out and did a bong hit tonight, I believe I'd ruin my
Disease- yeah,
life
yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
You
do
know
you
what I
think
mean?
you would be?
So-
Do you think if you took a bong hit, you would be on the flight pad with jets going by and like speed bump situation
Crawling on the
just
ground.
from one bong hit?
In a day or two.
And it would take a few days.
I
Action
think,
movie
I
style.
think one would be too many, 1,000
There's
never
never
know.
enough.
I'd be off to the races.
What I'm asking her, so if we believe it's a disease, 'cause I too believe it's a disease. I believe it's mentally and physically a disease. But so we believe all three of us believe it's a disease.
The
It's
disease
incurable.
is now, but everybody that's got a substance abuse problem, not an addict or
Doesn't
an
have to be an
alcoholic.
addict, right? They haven't crossed that line, right? Yeah. So we believe that. We believe it's incurable too. So then, what is the solution to that?
Well, recovery. I keep saying recovery is the solution, really, to not only the epidemic but to the abuse.
I got you.
That's
I'm
why the
with you. So-
multiple pathways of recoveries are. a
Yeah,
big
so you're
deal.
saying the solution is like tailor made for an individual, then?
Well, I mean,
by picking pathways,
well, definitely. But what do those pathways give us?
purpose.
Opportunity to improve the quality of our life, to have a better today than you did yesterday, and hopefully you keep moving in that direction.
Yeah,
good.
I
That's
think.
good.
I think like the particular pathway I picked too gives you like tools for self-examination and to really get to the root of your problems and to figure out ways to combat.
What's the root of your problem?
disease.
Trauma.
Money. Oh, no.
Trauma, baby.
Selfish and self-centered for him. so I can tell you, man, the solution I think, and all these pathways give it to us, is some type of power. They give us power, right?
They give
us-
you purpose.
purpose,
Purpose.
power. You say purpose, I say power,
And
right?
as long as you
say
exercise
potato,
your
I say
purpose,
potato.
Yeah, and wherever you go to get it, we are not arguing that, right? So if you want to go to a pathway that's not familiar to other people, go to it. Just go somewhere and get that purpose. Go somewhere and get that power, right? Because you got to get it from somewhere, y'all. All right, any last parting words? What we got? Anything, Travis?
This was great, man. I always
tell 'em where we're at
look.
tonight.
One of my favorite things to do is have conversations with John and sometimes you, Jesse, but definitely John. I love having conversations.
you like one of them
listen-
right-wing TV hosts, man.
Listen, I always feel edified in some way, either good or bad, after talking to John.
What about you, John? Any last
Man,
parting
look,
words for everybody
man.
out there?
Just if you like me, you got the same illness I got. You know, do what we do to recover, you'll get it. But purpose is a real important thing to be shooting for. You don't want your purpose to be destroy your life and have a ripple effect that hurts everybody around you. And you look at the old timers, where they came from and where they're at, and I promise you purpose is in there. And as long as you delivering your purpose on a daily basis, you probably won't never go back to where
I
you came
believe
from.
that.
There you have it, everybody. 41 years in recovery. Find your purpose. Anybody out there, find your purpose. Look, if you happen to just scroll upon this by accident and you like it, share it for us, like it, and then click on subscription to our YouTube channel. When you click on it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Very important. We're not asking for any monetary donations. We just want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share this material. And then if anybody out there, on a serious note, this is serious, if any of y'all want to transcribe a book, we'd be interested to get you out here to help John with this. You know, he's trying to write a book. I really want it written, and that's not to take away from what John's doing. I think it'd be important. It's important material to get out there. So if you're interested in doing it, come check it out. Don't forget about all our upcoming events, and tune in later today. Who y'all got speaking today?
Greg Jones, is that right?
Oh, at the jail
Greg
tonight,
Jones.
yeah.
Jail
yeah.
Greg Jones.
Jail
So
East tonight, yeah.
his wife spoke last week.
Oh, great
And,
couple,
yep,
yeah.
and
Great
he's
job.
speaking this week. So tune in, check him out. That's at what, 6 p.m.
5:15.
5:15, we do the hype session with Marshall. Then we go into the speaker, and
Marshall,
really awesome,
Marshall
dude.
gets you
Yeah,
hyped,
Marshall's
man.
great.
Yep,
he
tune
will
into
hype
that.
you up good.
5:15. Tune into that. Check that out. And then Thursday this week we got Clay Porter coming on the podcast. He is a success story that we want to talk about. And then Tuesday next week we got Alex Bond. If y'all know Alex, anybody out there knows Alex, he's coming on. He's doing great things out there. He's producing movies. He used to help produce the podcast here and used to be one of our hosts. So he's coming on Tuesday. And then Thursday next week we got Honesty Lillard coming on 2 p.m. Thursday. She'll be on. She's our CEO. So we're gonna talk about what the transition has been like for her. We've been talking to John about the transition, and we're gonna hear what Honesty, hear her thoughts and get a little bit of her story. And we're just gonna keep having some fun. We might have a podcast here with John and one of our board members, the doctor that we have on our board member. He's interested in getting on there. So we got a lot of good upcoming stuff. So check us out. If you got any comments, definitely give us a call or message us, and we'll try to answer them. So anyways, we love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.